you're watching this video, unfortunately you're going to have to take the shut-off coils apart. If a shut-off sleeve bursts and the vacuum comes on, it draws milk up this air line into the bottom of the manifold here, and it sticks the little operator inside in the coil. So we're just going to run through how to take this off the robot and clean it out. So the first thing you want to do is just kill the air above the cabinet in the...
Just one sec. Yeah.
You just slide up this valve. That's going to kill all the air in there. So after that, then it's just a matter of loosening these two bolts here on the top. We just loosen them too. So your air pipe goes in on the top. It's just a little hydraulic fitting, and your vacuum pipe goes in on the bottom, which I always take off the arm side so you can't get them mixed up. So there's your block. The next thing to do is just take off your 4 coils. So if you just look, everything is in line. So if you look at your left rear, right front. So just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with the air pipes. You can't really mix them up, but just check them to see that they're right before you do any dismantling. So just take your plugs off.
Right.
And then we just pull off the 4 air pipes as well. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're just going to bring this over to the table now, and
Yep.
so here's your block. We advise always bringing it to a clean environment, so if you drop anything that you can see it fairly quick. There's a lot of little seals and bits and pieces inside the housing, so they're just 2 screws holding the 2 manifolds together, which in turn just keeps all the coils from moving. So we just split that block. Should just pull apart. So as you can see, your O-rings and stuff there. So we just leave our 2 bolts to one side, and then we have to take off our coils. So there's a little O-ring here on top that we have to take off before the coils come off. So just a small screwdriver or a little pick. I just have a little pick here, so just get in around the back of the O-ring and just flick it off. So that's 1, 2. Here's a brown one, that's just for the top of the coil. 3 and 4. If these seals crack or damage while you're doing that, don't worry about it. It's not crucial, and we can get ones sent out. So your coils will just come off one by one now. You can see the little brown O-rings, they just go on top of the coils, so we just sit them in there. Now just have a look at that now. So you see your Phillips screwdrivers now, so a small Phillips screwdriver, and just take out them 2 small little Phillips. Now we just take one of them apart. The whole lot of them are the same, but we just take one of them apart. So when you take out this, what you're going to be faced with is that little plunger is going to be stuck up, and it's going to be caked with all milk, and it's going to be all hard, and you're going to need to free it out. So the best thing I had to do is just soak it in hot water and a bit of suds. I just get something to be jammed up like that just to pull this out, leave it down to one side, and then get your screwdriver and a rag and just clean all inside this housing. Make sure it's spotless really before putting it back together, and then just put your operator back in and just screw it back on with your 2 little Phillips. We do always tell farmers to do this in the office or in a table somewhere, because if you lose any of these little screws, it can be hard to get a replacement. So just screw this back together now. 1 and 2. Now, whenever you're ready.
Right.
So we just have that screwed back on now. So you have 4 O-rings down at the bottom of the coils as well. Just make sure they're there. You can see them there. And just stick our coils back on. So doesn't matter which coil goes where, as long as they're all working, it shouldn't matter. Just the main thing is to make sure all your O-rings are back in place. So we're ready for our top cover now. No, we have to put the O-rings on top of the coils here. So your 4 small O-rings. As I said, if them O-rings crack or do any break when you're taking them off, I wouldn't be.
Yep.
So we're ready for our top cover now. And we just stick the top cover on. And we put in our 2 screws now, Kev. Don't over tighten these because there's only plastic threads they're going into, so if we just nip them up, they can always be tightened an extra bit if there's an air leak, but there's no need to go mad. So we'll put our coils back on first, so we start from left to right. Just tighten up your screws. So I'll just put the air and the vacuum back on now, or I'll put these air pipes back on. Right, yeah.
Yep.
So just put your 4 air pipes back in now as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then followed by your vacuum, which goes on the bottom, and your air, which goes on the top. We screw her into place first before we put the air. So we're just screwing our block back on top. So again, plastic threads, so don't over tighten or it will ring. Just get them down here and nip them up. There's plenty of tightness in them. On our air, and then switch your air back on above.